Hello, good morning everyone. Today we are going to learn how to use the Market Analyzer tool on Ninjatrader. We are watching here a live recording from today's session. The ATR columns are expressed in ticks and the Market Analyzer window is linked to the chart on the right. The blue cells are those with an ATR between 4 and 15. On Nasdaq we can see that there is a big volatility, so its ATR is in red color. The Standard & Poor's has a good volume and also a good ATR between 4 and 15. We can see the link in red color, so we can click on any row on Market Analyzer and the chart at the right is updated. We have also links to different type of windows, like for example level 2. This is the British pound, has almost no volume, almost no movement, because we are in rollover and we are changing from September to December. Now this is the current contract, the December. Now we can see that we have a good price action and also volume. Even so, the volatility is very low, it is below 4, so the cell is not painted in blue. We can also sort and take a look at the time of the last incoming tick, so we can detect instruments with low or no incoming data, like for example DAX and the bonds. It is almost 20 minutes without incoming data, and this is because the instrument was the old. We must change it to the December contract. Now with the current contract we can see that it is updating to the second. The current bar is also forming with 2 ticks. On the bonds we can see the price action is very choppy. This is the old contract, so we must change it to the new one, the December. And now we have a good price action and also volume.
Target filled.
If we check at the columns, this is a custom indicator that shows the ATR but in ticks. And we have several ways to show any column on Market Analyzer. We can see it on graph format or on numerical format. This is the ATR in 1 minute. It has 2 sell conditions. The sell condition number 1 is when the value is bigger than 15, it paints a red background. If it is bigger than 4, it is painted in blue. If none of the condition is true, then the cell is not painted. We have also a filter condition when the ATR is lower than 4. So we can right click and select the row filter, and then only the rows with an ATR bigger than 4 are shown. Now we disable the filter and we get all the rows. We have also alerts. The alerts can be seen on the alert window, and we can see there are several alerts produced by different
Order filled.
instruments. Like this last one, this zone was the crude oil having a movement bigger than 10 ticks. We can see that each row has an alert condition that we can set. This is on the range of the bar, this column. Those bars, we can see at the alert condition, those bars with a value bigger than 10 show a message, movement bigger than 10 ticks in 1 minute, and also place a user selected zone. We can also change the color on red, as we can see on the row. So with Market Analyzer, we can change the cell colors, create filters, and also produce alerts, visual and in sound format. Let's see first how we can open a Market Analyzer in Ninja 7. We go to File, New, Market Analyzer, and we get this window without any data. So we can add one by one the name of the instruments. For example, Apple. And Ninja fills the columns that we have defined on the column menu. We can add any of these variables. For example, we can add the description of the instrument, and we can also change the order of the columns. We can also add a list with several instruments inside. On Ninja 8 it is almost the same. We click on New, Market Analyzer, and we get the same window where we can add one instrument at a time, or we can also add a list. On this example, I will add crude oil. Some other things that we can also do. We can save the configuration in templates, so the next time I will load my preferred template with all my columns and functions that I want to see for each instrument that I add to the table. For example, for Dow Jones on the new December contract and Nasdaq, DAX, and as we can see, some of the rows are painted on different color. We have several options. We can create alerts, auto sorts, filters. If I apply the filter, only those rows with enough volatility are shown. Inside of each variable that we add, each column, each of the columns has 3 different options. One alert with a sound alert, a sell condition where we can change the front and background colors. On this example I have the 2 conditions. When the volatility is bigger than 15, the background is painted in red, and when it is bigger than 4, it is painted in blue. Let's see how we can configure this format on Ninja 8. Both versions are similar. This is our final format and a chart which is also linked to the market analyzer. We can use this button. We select a link color. On this example I am using red, and when 2 or more windows are linked with a color, any instrument that we change, for example I click on the Standard & Poor's, and the other charts are updated with the new instrument. So we can use Market Analyzer to select an instrument that updates on other or others charts. Same happens on Ninja 7. We can select a link color, and this can be updated to 1 or more charts. The main parameters that I am most interested in look into a table are the volume, volatility, and if it is data incoming. If I sort the incoming data time, so we can find instruments with connection troubles or that are no longer active. If, for example, now I add an expire instrument like crude oil from September, currently it has no data. It can also be charted. So if we sort by last time of tick, we can group all the instrument with troubles in the data. We can remove the instrument, the old instrument. Some of these instruments are currently expired because, as I already told yesterday, was rollover. This is the British pound. We can see on the price action where there are missing prices. So when the price has this pattern, it has very low volume or it is expired. We can change on the instrument to the current month, December, and now we can see that the price action is more smooth. Volume is also big. We can look at both instruments at the same time. I can add the September contract again. If we sort by instrument, then we get both instruments one along the other, and we can check the difference of the volume between 4 to 36 on the last 5 minutes. So we have a difference of 10 to 1 between the old and the new contract. Usually for day trading, we look for a volume traded per minute bigger enough than our trade size. So we don't have field troubles, and also our fields are fine. Another thing that we want to check is that the ATR of the instrument is inside our parameters, because the stop size is related to the current volatility. Usually we need to use a stop between 1.5 to 2 times the current volatility. This is the old DAX. Let's change it to December, and we can see it is in blue, so it is okay. It is between 4 and 15. ATR is 7.4 ticks per minute, so we can use safely a stop of 15 ticks. Another useful way to detect the volatility of a market is drawing horizontal lines with a separation of 10 ticks, because this is near our target and stop sizes. Usually we use a stop bigger than 10 and a target in that order. Looking at the horizontal line, we have an idea of how many opportunity trades we may get into this instrument. On this example, at this time, DAX has a good ATR. It is 7 ticks inside our range, and we can see at the price action we have several movements. The volume is also fine. It is currently bigger than 100, so we can trade between 5 to 10 contracts without any trouble of getting a good feel. If we look at high peaks on this moment, the ATR was bigger than 20 ticks, almost 25. On this 1 minute bar, the size of an average stop of 15 ticks is several times our stop size. We can see that if the ATR is 25, we should be using a stop bigger than 40. This is the reason why I paint in red any ATR bigger than 15. This area is perfectly fine. It is with over 4, below 15, and we get enough horizontal lines, so we have several trade opportunities in this range. This number 10.37 is the average of last 10 bars, the size of the last 10 bars. They had an average of 10 ticks in height, in the size of the bars. We can also compare several instruments. If we look per volume, the Standard & Poor's is one of the instruments with more volume, but at this time we have an ATR of 1.5. It is below our limit, and we can see at the chart that it is not painted in blue, and with so low volatility, even with a big enough volume, we can see that the volume is big enough, we cannot get an objective in the order of 10 ticks in a time normal for a day trader. It is more than 1 hour without moving more than 10 ticks. To paint these horizontal lines at 10 ticks, we can go to the chart properties, and on the grid lines horizontal we only need to click on visible. We can select the color and a pattern, and then we right click the vertical axis, go to properties and select a fixed scale of 10 ticks. This way we can compare one instrument to another. It is much easier to understand how slow or fast is an instrument. For example, on bonds, even having a lot of volume, we can see that it is almost impossible to get a big target. Currently the volatility is 0.6 in ticks. So this is not an instrument useful for day trading. Even it was just a spike of 20 ticks, and then all the day remained in a range of 10 ticks. Volume is big, 200 contracts per minute, but the trade opportunities are very low. On Euro, we can see a lot of opportunities, lot of horizontal lines. Not currently at this moment, and we can also look at the pattern that this must be an old instrument. We must do the rollover to December, and we can see at this time volatility is too low. We are in a range of 20 ticks for hours, but today early at the opening time the movement was big enough, big volume. We can trade lot of contracts and the volatility is big enough. Let's see how to configure these columns. First of all, we can see that the ATR of all instruments is not comparable with between different instruments, because DAX has on currencies it is 0.00 something, while on another instruments like on DAX we have 4 points. So we need to convert this ATR to ticks to have a comparable format. We can edit or create an indicator. We can edit the ATR. We save it with a different name, for example ATR in ticks. And inside the on-bar update, the only that we need is to set the value to the current bar. Value 0 must be equal to the ATR. First, I will start with the standard ATR, just to check if I am doing the indicator correctly. So we type ATR period and 0. We compile, and now let's see how it looks. It should look exactly as the standard ATR. So it should be expressed in price, not in ticks. And this is the green line at the bottom. It is expressed in price. So now let's convert these to ticks. The only that we need to do is divide the ATR by the tick size. We can type this dot tick size. We compile again. Refresh the chart. And now we have the ATR in ticks. I will change the format to bars in a different color. So we get the same histogram that the ATR ticks. So this is the only that we need to change. Another option is to express the ATR in dollars or in currency, because not all the ticks has the same value. On this example, we have an ATR in cost of 19 euros, because this is the DAX. The euro has an ATR of $16. Even having different ATR in ticks. On the bonds, where the tick is expensive, we have an ATR of more than $20. If you don't have or you don't want to create this indicator, you can look at the description below this video and you can find an indicator on the website that paint the ATR in different formats. Hope this has been useful for you, and if you have any question, please post below this video. Thank you everyone, bye bye.